Hello, my friends, and everybody listening to this. Today is another day. Still having this cough in my throat, in my lungs. Smoky, like I was smoking like a chimney yesterday. Still this kind of stuff that they put in this spray, they use pepper spray as well. And I didn't like that, but in order for crazy people to move away, they needed this kind of stuff. Not only pepper spray on big bottles, but it was also some kind of stun gun, smoking gun with a lot of what you can... They are draining out the air of the air. In normal smoke you can breathe, but this was kind of removing everything away, so you were just breathing air, smoke, I mean. So that is that was yesterday, and today, well, I got to sleep a little bit, but not that much. But what do you care about my sleep? I'm just trying to get time running. What's up today? What's the case of today? I didn't like the topic yesterday because it was about the leftists. They are siding with Islamists. And I don't regard them. Also, I want to make a point to this because it's odd to regard religious people to be that peak of craziness that I saw yesterday. They can call themselves Islamists defending Muhammad, or when someone is burning the Quran. It's kind of silly. It's kind of silly thing to call yourself religious. Who, in their right mind, in our Christian or Jewish community, will go out of their limbs to defend their religion for not being humiliated? In that way, they really humiliate their own religion. To act crazily like that, it's like they don't know what they are doing. Because they never admit. Did you throw stones? Yeah. That's how crazy it is. Yeah. They only point fingers. And if you are one of those, I have no high regard or respect for you. You use violence. We teach our children not to use violence. What do you teach your children? To kill? I know for a fact, and that's for your information that I know. I know that Palestinians, those rioters, those stabbers, not every Palestinian, no, of course. I would guess, I would bet, also close to betting, but I wouldn't go there. But to call yourself religious out of a man or woman that were burning Quran and go like banana crazy like that, it's kind of not so very convincing. You are not that religious. I would, in my mind, and it's not that narrow as you would think it is, and not uneducated man that is commenting on this. I know a little bit about religion. And I saw Mr. Leonard Cohen. He neither went into Jewish or Christianity, nor did he go deep into Islam, but he wanted to join the Buddhists. And it was the more harmonic, the more equilibrium, the more sense you bring into life, into stuff, the more this will harmonize. I don't go into that kind of religion like Buddhists. Because it's no argument against, but it is not as far as I can see it. They don't use violence in order to get their point across. And this is just the point that those rioters, hooligans and rioters, are trying to get across. If you burn a Quran, if you do a drawing of Muhammad, you are to be slaughtered. You are to be slain. You are to be stabbed. If you are a person not among us, but a foreigner like a Jew, you shouldn't even be in Israel, because that is for you waging a war. When a Jew is in Israel, now Israel, former Palestine, and how long do we need to go back in this age of violence? To be Jew, and that is not only regarding Palestinian or it is also regarding Europeans. They haven't come over their pure and cynical hate for Jews. They are still so active misconceptions about Jews. They blame Jews for whatever they like them to be accused of, just out of a habit. And just out of a habit, they also have words that is very intoxicated by bad ingredients. Oh, he's a real Jew. This is in my neighborhood, he said. Oh, he's a real Jew. Like something very negative, very bad. Who is using that kind of stuff? Are there any saying, oh, he's really a Kenyan, or he's really African, or he is really a Catholic, he's really a Christian? I have used that according to Christian, because there are levels of being a Christian. And if you have no back mirror, so to say. If you don't look at yourself in a proper way, it's a way of being religious about your everlasting right to be right. That's how cynical they are. So don't misunderstand me for just going for Palestinian or Muslims. I laugh at my own mistakes. Oh, but now it's regarding them. But I don't believe, that is my point of this video. I don't believe religious people can claim to be religious out of this activity. Is that right? When you claim to be a worshipper, the coughing is out of this smoke. I was in a war zone yesterday. Hadn't it been for the police, someone would be very wounded, maybe killed, because they were throwing stones. So how come those people can claim the ownership of being religious on behalf of Islam? Wouldn't an imam or other Muslim, a peace-loving Muslim as they claim to be? It's claimed Islam is the religion of peace. So how can you tolerate in your midst this kind of attitude, this kind of hatred? It's not hatred, it's intentionally violence. It's not out of a victimhood, it's not out of a suffering. For what? Are you suffering since someone is burning the Quran? I don't believe you are suffering. But you use that as an excuse to do wrong, as if the freedom of speech are defending you. How dare you call yourself religious? In some sense, even the most religious, and that is the second point I would like to and love to make, in some deepest sense, to be religious is also evaluating yourself. Maybe only by your own standards of being religious. But here you have a culture of religion. And we never know what that really is for sure, for fact. But let me say this. I don't believe for a minute this is Islam. Yet is written in the Quran many bad things what the Muslims should do to a Jew. Maybe I misconcept it, or I don't see the whole broader picture, as they may say. But even it's said like that, they are now in the 20th century claiming that Islam is a religion of peace. And we have to judge in some degree persons or entities out of what they are saying and what they are claiming. So if you say you worship a religion of peace, and you go out and backstab and kill Jews because they are Jews at the wrong place, according to you, not according to them, not according to the international law. Nobody, even if he is misplaced, shouldn't be killed. That's how simple this is, and how rudely those laws are broken by you. I don't say Muslims. I say to you that stab Israelis, Jews in their back. And you think it's okay. You see, every religion with a serious standard have to ask themselves some very critical questions. You see, we have some historic background for that. We have some historic background for that. And human will always be human. And the excuse for doing not a thorough and very serious questioning about themselves, among themselves, is that we are not perfect. Nobody claimed anyone should be perfect. But if you are criticized from outsiders, I would just assume very strongly that's when it's about to be late, too late in your case. When others are criticizing your religion, that's when you forgot to do it yourself. I don't expect you to criticize your religion per se, like worshipping Allah or God or whoever, Muhammad or this Buddha. I don't assume that is the right thing to criticize. I don't assume that, because you are free to believe whatever you like. But we must always take our deeds to be separate from religion. We have to view our acts, our deeds, separately from what we are believing in. That's why, as long as we are in this livelihood, in this life, all the time, have to judge ourselves. Is it right for me to meet my next of kin, or those that I am amongst? Is it right for me to behave like this? And let me listen to them. How do they feel about me? How do they think about my contribution in this setting? And maybe they wouldn't dare to answer that, because maybe you take too much ownership in your own point of argument. Maybe you are owning the right to be right all the time, because you never act as you are a little bit on the road yourself. Religious. I said to someone that was a little bit religious, I don't know, maybe he was atheist, I don't know, but I said in a verbal argument that you are so Christian. And the next, you are so religious. I said it to an atheist, because they can also be religiously preoccupied with their points. So who is more convinced? A Christian, Jews, Muslim believer or an atheist believer? Because in the end, even the atheists have to admit, we believe. In what? In science. For them, science is a religion. But that is their fault. Because this science, if it's genuine, as every scientific conclusion or statement is, and here the Muslims, Christians and Jews have something to learn. This is the point I want to make. If you say you believe in the science, the science itself is adjusting all the time because it's not a precise definition. Everything, and I've been talking about that earlier on, and I found it very interesting and intriguing to talk about or reflect about. The science is always trying to arrest and find loopholes and faults in their own statements. That's the nature of the science. It's a pure objective entity, so to say, that you can't say I believe in science and think that is the polar opposite of our religion's statement, like the Jews say that God created. If you think that the science is like that, then you have poorly been fooled, really been fooled. And if the religious, we know that science, you can say the fact is a fact, and the science is a way, a road, or a tool to those facts that we try to find, that we are seeking all the time. And I would bet it's similar with the religious, different religions. That Jews, Muslims and Christians, and so on, is a similar or an equivalent to a scientific tool in order to understand, for the human condition to understand what is the fact. And even more, because it's regarding our psyche, it's regarding our honesty, it's regarding some qualities of the human nature, that I appeal that you can't take ownership in your own religion and say, this is my religion, this is this and that. No, you can't, because it's objective. It's out there. You can't reach that kind of level of proclamation or claim that you own the truth. That is beyond your ability. Because every scientist have to ask himself or herself a question that is about, how can I access the whole fact, the truth? And is my understanding, that is the crucial point, is my understanding the whole picture, or is it just maybe outside or inside? Is it a dot on the inside, or is it a void of the outside that we can see, that we can understand? But our understanding, that is where I think the religion brings us to sanity. The religion brings us to sanity on how to be honest about ourselves. So to claim you are religious, either it's Muslims or Jews or Christians, and you take stones, knives, or a weapon in your own hand and say, God with us, or Allahu Akbar, you are poorly mistaken, my friend. You are so out of line. You see, you can only serve the truth. If you have found the truth, you are destined to serve it. You can't own anything. Your hands is still empty. We can grab so much, we can do so much, but we are still just an empty vessel. We are an empty vessel. So to claim that kind of ownership, that kind of ruling, that you think you can come here and say, because they burned the Quran, you are in your right to do violence, is also by Islamic standards, Christian and Jews alike, so poorly mistaken, so gravely mistaken. If you say you are a Muslim, Christian and Jew, you are destined to serve. The serving that you are destined to is how you see yourself in this perspective. Is also how you see others. That is the crucial point. How you look at others. And in my world, others are equal value to me. Is it in your case? Even if they disagree? Would you have a mouth cover on those that say something else than you? I told my friends that I don't want to deny anyone there to say or verbalize their opinion. It's just wrong. Don't you have a higher moral standard? I think religion is understated very profoundly good. So if you serve Islam or Christian or Jews, you should bring yourself to sanity. The sanity of admitting that you are limited. That you know so much, but you can't have the whole picture. You don't own the truth. You can only serve the truth. So I was not a victim yesterday, going through this turmoil in the street. It was just a signal that made me reflect. I showed a video about it. I was coughing, and I gave water to a Muslim man. I think he was one of those that was writing, but he was on the street. And I asked, do you want water? And he reached out his empty hand, and I was able to fill it up with water. So please, my friend, be that kind of mensch that can fill others' cup a little